hello again. And thank you for all these meetings and interesting lectures. And I hope that this will help lots of people to improve their creativity and the work they do. So we can start our lecture now. It's already ready. We are in live. I will just turn on the screen sharing. It's done. So we can start it.
Thank you. I will just try to find. Okay, I hope that you are able to see my screen now.
Yes, I can
shortly,
see the screen. Yes.
Okay, perfect. Shortly about myself. I'm Isabel, I'm 22 years old and I'm from Germany. And today's topic will be about how to improve and increase your creativity. This topic was chosen because in today's times, I think there are many things that lead to the fact that a lot of us don't have enough creativity. But creativity is a really important topic in today's times. And this is why I want to take some time to reflect and to discuss the topic of creativity. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me. So what is the structure? First, we will talk about the importance of the topic. So about why creativity is important at all. And then I will try to give you some recommendations about how to practice your creativity and how to maybe become a more creative person. So why is creativity important? Creativity helps you to understand the world easier, because if you are a creative person, you are more likely to see the bigger picture of the world, about how the world is working and how different things on the world are connected to each other. So creativity can help you in all parts, like at work or at your university, because you understand like how everything is working. Creativity supports your own motivation, because sometimes you just feel really stressed. Maybe you have many problems, maybe at work or at university. But if you start to do something else and to do something creative, you will get more motivation out of this and are maybe more motivated to go back to your old problems and to start dealing with your problems with new motivation. This is because when you are creative, or when you focus on something different than on your topics, on your problems, you're engaging your mind in something else, in something that is funny and that is really nice. And then your mind collects new motivation for doing the other things as well. Doing something else can be, for example, baking, drawing, doing puzzles, everything basically that involves like creativity and involves like distracting your mind from your problems. Creativity can also make you more productive, because if you are like a creative person, you tend to be open-minded and you tend to be interested in the world and to collect new ideas every day. And you're also inspired by the world, and you want to see something else and something around you. And all this motivation makes you more productive, because you really want to find new ways to solve problems, and you're just striking to do an input on the world. Creativity can also help you to boost your confidence, which might be important to some people that might not have so much confidence. Because, for example, when you're creative and when you see connections in the world that maybe not everyone sees, then you can find new motivation out of this, and you are more confident because you know that you are able to solve some problems maybe in your way and not in like the mainstream way, and you know about your strengths, which is creativity, and therefore you can go through the world with more confidence. There are so many advantages of creativity, as you can see. Another advantage, for example, or another reason for the fact that creativity is important is that it can also help to clarify your thoughts and feelings. Because, as you know, the world can sometimes be very difficult, and your own life can also maybe be so difficult because there are so many different topics going on, and maybe you feel like you want to solve one problem, but there are thousands of other problems and you just don't know where to start and where to stop. And maybe the traditional ways of trying to solve all these problems are very linear, and you feel like overwhelmed by the amount of topics you have to deal with. But if you start applying creativity to these problems, so just taking a step back, or just drawing a mind map, for example, or drawing in general, this can help you to understand all your problems or the origins of your problems better, and that can let your thoughts be free and help to clarify your thoughts. So although you maybe not think in a very structured way, you still tend to solve your problems better and easier and faster. Of course, I think this is quite easy to understand. Creativity lets you express yourself. And this is also maybe a really important point, because human beings need to identify themselves and also to express themselves, to see who they are as a person, and to make them aware of what makes them unique. And creativity is one of the best ways to find the unique aspects of every person. For example, if you write articles, poems, or diary, if you bake something in your own way, if you do puzzles in your own style, you can really get aware of your own creativity and of your own expressions. So expressing yourself is even so important that it is considered to be a human right. So I think, although I mentioned this aspect in the middle of the presentation, it can definitely be considered as one of the most important ones. Creativity brings people together. As you know, human beings are social creatures who want to spend time together and who give themselves value by being with other people and spending time with other people. And spending time with other people is often done in really creative ways. So, for example, when you are in a sports club, or when you are part of a band, for example, or of an orchestra. So if you're just spending time with other people, you form connections to these people, and these connections increase your own personal value, your sense of belonging, and therefore also your mental health. So if you participate in creative activities, you will automatically profit on your whole body will profit out of it. Talking about health, creativity also reduces stress, because if we are creative and if you can solve your problems in a more creative way, if you think faster because you think in a creative way, you will see that you can go through the world with more success, maybe not like monetary success, but personal success. And this can cause positive feelings and thoughts and peace, and this will reduce your stress level. Because of this mentioned stress level decrease, creativity can also help you to live longer. Researchers have showed that creativity, or when you are thinking in a creative way, there are a lot of networks in your brain working a lot. And if your brain is working a lot because it is thinking so creatively all the time, it makes you healthier, and so you are likely to live longer. Plus, of course, your stress level is lower, and this also leads to your to an increase in your health, and therefore plays a great role in extending your life. So now we have learned about the importance of creativity and all the advantages that creativity has. And maybe now you realize, oh, wow, I have never really thought about creativity, because maybe you didn't know that it has so many advantages, or maybe you just didn't consider it at all because maybe you thought that it's like a thing that goes together with talent. So you are born in a creative way or not, and you cannot learn it. But the positive thing I want to tell you now is that creativity can definitely be learned. And in the following, I want to present you some tips or tricks about how to improve your own creativity. Maybe it will not directly work out, and maybe some of the tips are a bit too simple, but at least you can try them, and you can try to think more about the creative parts of your brain and your mind, and try to engage more in these creative parts. So the first tip I want to give you is to train yourself to connect different topics. So this is something that you can always train. If you are in university, for example, if you study law, for example, and the professor is introducing some cases, you can just try to connect these cases to your own life, maybe to ask you questions like, oh, how likely is that this will also happen to me? Or how would I have reacted when I was part of the situation in the case? So in doing this, you try to connect different topics with each other, and this makes you increase your creativity. And this is one of the keys to become a more creative and also open-minded person. Like, I can give you an opposite example. For example, engineers or scientists often have struggles connecting different topics. It's not because they are dumb or stupid, it's just because they are linear thinkers, and they are really like specialists in their topic, but sometimes it's difficult for them to find patterns or structures in parallel topics as well. Of course, not all engineers are linear thinkers. It's just an example. Another tip that I want to give you is a bit connected to the first tip, and is to be open to new experiences. So this is something you can try to learn while trying to define a bit your character. This implies that you have a dynamic imagination, and that you're just like a curious person, for example, that you like to travel, or if you don't have the possibility to travel, that you like to learn something new, to read, to watch, to hear, to some new experiences, that you are interested in learning, getting to know new people, and that you are always just trying to make new experiences in all different kinds of topics, because each new experience that you have will help you to become a more creative person, because you have more experiences and therefore you can connect more topics and to get like new inspirations to think. Another examples are, for example, learning new languages. I can tell from my own experience right now, because I tried to learn a bit of Georgian, and since Georgian is a really difficult language for me as a German girl, I really saw how my own how I activated my own brain, and how I grew in this process as a person, because I was overwhelmed so many times and I had the feeling of not understanding anything. But time after time, I realized that there are some rules and some structures, and I could also see like some patterns and structures. So I tried to be open to new experiences, and also I tried to connect my own language, German, to the new language, Georgian. And at the end, I think I will be just a more creative person. Not only creative, but it will definitely be one aspect. You can, of course, always try to push yourself in all different kinds of aspects. And you can also try to deal with social and political issues, because normally they are also so difficult to understand and to get through them, that you will also really benefit from the complexness of the world. One thing that might be really easy is to go out for a walk. Especially in Corona times right now, I think there are not so many different alternatives to do, sadly. But on the other side, you can just go out for a walk and you can see how many inspirations you can get from a walk, and this will all increase your creativity. So maybe you can see that the more influences you get from the world around you, the more creative you will be in the end. And on a walk, you can see so many different things. You can, especially in Georgia, you can see the sea, you can see the mountains, you can see Tbilisi and everything going on in this town. And you can just try to find something new on each walk that you do. Although when you might walk the same road every day, but there will always be something new on your way. So going for a walk can really give you new inspirations. And furthermore, you are also just like a more sporty and more active person, which makes your brain working more, and will of course also profit your brain in the end. And your brain is the most important thing for becoming more creative. So going for a walk is something that I can really recommend you to do. Something else, this is what is also, I think, easy to realize, is to add green to your life. You can easily add green, for example, when you go for a walk. So you can combine these two topics again. Because if you just walk in the forest, or if you go to the mountains and see all the grass and huge landscapes, for example, why green? It was found out that green enhances creative performance. So I couldn't not believe this at first too, but since since many people have found about something like this, it must be true. While green is very positive, um, especially blue and yellow can actually lower creativity. But I think it is more likely that you buy green flowers for your room than maybe yellow flowers. Like, I'm not talking about flowers, but about the things you buy for your rooms, you know, like small trees or something. And I think they are more likely green than yellow. So you can very easily increase your creativity by this. Wow, the points are getting more and more easy, I see. Keep a cluttered desk. So this means that being a messy person is sometimes really good, especially when you want to become more creative, because this means that you break away from tradition orders and conventions, and this will help you like to find your own structure in the chaos, will make you a more creative person than other people that are already really clean and structured from beginning, because they might tend to be linear thinkers, while people that are very chaotic, but of course people that are chaotic but are still able to deal and succeed in their lives, might be more creative persons. You shouldn't be afraid to stand out, because if you are a creative person, you are more likely to be somehow special or somehow like a different person than the mainstream. So either way, you like to stand out, but you're also maybe likely to be rejected by society because maybe you think in a different way. And maybe you also think in a controversial way. And of course, not everyone likes this. But thinking critically and reflectively and not really caring about the social norms and everything is the best way to show how creative you are. Because of course, creativity always means to be different in some way and to think differently. Otherwise, you wouldn't be creative. Another aspect about how to increase your creativity is to refine your ideas. So this means that although your way of thinking should not be like linear, and you should try to find connections to other topics and to try to stand out and think controversial and everything, you should do all of this. You should look for as many solutions and ideas as you can. But in the end, you should take your time to come to a final, well-developed and good decision. So what I want to point out here is not to take impulsive decisions, because if you are creative, you might think that you directly come to a decision, but the best way is to first ask the right questions. So which problem would I like to solve? Then looking for the solutions. Then try to see whether all the solutions would work or not. So try to find the best solution and then try to make this best solution happening. So being patient and being okay with maybe needing some time to come to a decision will also increase your creativity, because basically you show in this process that you go through many different ways of solving a problem. You don't directly find a solution, but you just try to find as many solutions as possible and then decide for the best one. But in the end, this might lead you to the best solution ever. This is again an easy point, and I'm sure you have heard about this before, because you should know about the importance of relaxation time and of enough sleep. People who sleep enough are automatically more likely to be more creative, because when you sleep, you learn so much more and you reflect on the happenings of the day, and your body is really able to like digest all the experiences you have made through the day. So in the end, you can take better decisions if you sleep enough, or you can maybe find different decisions after you have a short time of relaxation, when you are dealing with a problem and you really don't find any solution, but then you just take some time off and you try to reflect on the different perspectives about how to solve the problem. In the end, you can find maybe the best solution ever. So the importance of relaxation time is also really useful in increasing your creativity. And in the end, it always comes down to practice, practice, practice. There is a 10,000 hour rule that says that it's necessary to work on a specific creative skill for 10,000 hours. So these are 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, for at least 5 years. So if you want to be like the best creative person, you should maybe invest some time and doing and realizing the tips I have given you. But since we were talking about like really nice tips that you can easily implement in your daily life, I think that you can automatically improve your creativity. And of course, as always, if you are born with a bit of talent, if you always read a lot in your childhood, for example, or if you are a person that loves to make new experiences every day, that has a lot of green in his life, then you might be automatically a more creative person than other people. But still, even if you're born as a creative person, you can improve and you can become better. And this is why practice, practice, practice is also a point in this lecture. I thank you a lot for your attention in this lecture. I hope that you have learned something new, and I hope that you will try to find your own creativity in your life. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Isabel. It was really interesting and informative. Thank you so much. And we'll meet tomorrow.
Yes.
Have a nice weekend. And thank you again.
Thank you.